Hey everybody, this is the show known as Tangential Films. Welcome.
Filmicio.
Yeah. It is I, Jake, and on the other mic, it is the man, Edward.
Yeah,
And we're back here with you. For everybody
yeah.
listening, just a quick, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. I wanted to actually say thank you to everybody because we passed 500 subscribers, which I think it's like a big milestone. It's like we
Woo!
we did it. We have 500 folks here. So leave a like, comment, say whatever you want, insult Jake or insult this week's guest. Kermit Peterson, if you want to. Jack continues to be
No
MIA,
more
but he'll
Peterson.
return eventually.
Peterson's fired. Man. Or, well, no, he's not fired, but he's banned from being a guest again.
Yeah. Um,
God, dude.
so in any case, I know that you had something that you wanted to open with. Jake has had some experiences today with our best friends, our folks at the what is
The
it? What do you call it?
Department of Motor
Yeah, the
Vehicles.
division or department, whatever, of motor vehicles. So why don't you tell us a little bit
I
about that?
fucking yeah. I'm gonna make some really controversial points here about hating the Department of Motor
Oh
Vehicles.
yeah, there's stuff
I'm thinking of a Family Guy bit. That's why I'm saying it like Peter.
there's stuff that you
But
have there's ammo that you have against the DMB that the Simpsons hasn't unloaded.
yeah, right. Yeah, Simpsons already did it, dude. I've been living in North Carolina for a year and a half now, and I just today got a North Carolina license plate. And the reason you want to know the reason why people avoid the DMV
Slow.
because it's not the reason that you think. Okay, everybody thinks like people avoid the DMV because it sucks,
Yeah.
and the people behind the counter are rude, and the other people there are stinky and they're rude and some of them
Well,
are
there's a lot of that
creepy
too. I mean that's a big part of why the people avoid the
and
DMV.
it's dirty and grim and boring
Yeah.
and it's a pain in the ass. No, that's not why people avoid the DMV. That is not. I'm going to make a claim here.
Yeah, illuminate us.
That's not the reason people avoid the DMV. They don't avoid the DMV because of the shitheads behind the counter. They don't avoid the DMV because of the other people there. They don't even avoid the DMV because of how many hours you got to spend there.
Mm-hmm.
How can you say it, Jake? Madness. What are you talking about?
What are
Of
you
course
talking
that's why people avoid the DMV.
Yeah.
No. People avoid the DMV because they know. You know, after having been alive on this planet for at least a couple decades or more, that if you go, there is a good chance you won't even get done what you were supposed to get
Yeah,
done.
the DMV is one of
That
those
is why people avoid
the DMV is
the
one of those
DMV.
places where it's like this like side quest in a video game, like where you go and start the quest and they go like, well, actually, it's funny because there used to be old GTA games where you would go to the place of the quest, you would do
Yeah.
part of the quest, and then they would say like, hey, you have to come back tomorrow. In the game they would tell you have to come back tomorrow at 9 a.m. So then in the game, you either had to again go to sleep or just fuck off and wait Dude, I swear, if my brother's listening, he can type in, or anybody who's played like GTA 3, GTA, like the old GTAs, like GTA, like Vice City Stories, like all those those old GTAs. Like they know that they had those like ridiculous like quests.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the DMV. Like I
I
told
only
you,
ever
I
played.
had to go there a few
I,
times and I had to go back a few times.
It's so funny. I only ever played 5. I missed out, dude, because everybody our age talks about like Vice
Yeah, you
City,
missed out, dude.
GTA 4. I missed out, yeah, because I wasn't allowed to play games like that until I was like 14.
Yeah, but you can do
much.
it. I mean,
My parents took that T for teen
yeah.
awful literally.
No, but
Let me tell you,
you can
that
go.
M for mature.
Yeah, you can go back there. You can carve out some time, to play like an hour or two, like once in a while, because it's like
Yeah.
those games, especially Grand Theft Auto 4 and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Those are like the big. I feel like those are like really like great games. Like I played those through my teens. stories in those games are classic and iconic, all the missions, you know. So I would say that those are still worth it. And obviously, we're going into the new Vice City, Grand Theft Auto 6. But all those old GTA games were great, man. But go ahead.
I couldn't even believe I saw a trailer for GTA 6. I thought it would we thought it would never happen.
Yeah.
But
they pushed it to next year.
No,
This
dude.
year.
You know what video game they need to make? GTA needs to be discontinued. It needs to be DMV. Okay.
DMV.
And you can
you need to keep going back.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the entire campaign is just getting your new license in the state you just moved to.
Yeah.
No,
you have to move to a new state every
that's
week.
actually easy these days with like online mail-in and shit. Dude.
Yeah.
No, but that is anyone listening, you know I'm right. That's why we avoid the DMV. It's not, I'm telling you, if anything else that lasts 2-3 hours and is a pain in the ass, you know, it's, we got to go get that. We got to go. We're working on a house project. We got to go, you know, to this store. It's 45 minutes away, and we got to look around in there for this part. All in all, the whole trip is going to be like 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, all right, well, they have the part? Yeah, they have the part. All right, let's go. You know, we got to do a little consultation and do the paperwork, but it'll get done.
Right.
You know, as long as, barring acts of God, it will get done. You know, my fucking nephew has a recital going on at his school. We got to go. It's going to be an hour show, and then we got to, there's a little reception after, and then plus driving. That's going to be like 2 hours out of your day. All right, but it's going to happen.
Right.
But the DM fucking V.
They make no promises, dude. Nothing's promised at the DMV.
You know you're gonna spend hours, and there might be something. Mm-hmm. Even though you went online and looked through all the fucking forms, and even though you talked to customer service, there's gonna be something that someone's going to send you back for. And then the next time you come in, you're going to have someone else and they're going to say, no, actually, you didn't need that. What? Fuck!
Yeah, there's always something like that. Yeah, there's no, the knowledge is not spread amongst everybody. There's certain people who know things, other people don't know those things, so they have old information. Yeah. You know how I treat the DMV? This is how I treat the DMV. I treat the DMV as I have to get up at the crack of dawn. Like I have to be there exactly when they open. Like I've been at the DMV before, and by before I mean multiple occasions. I've been there. You know, they open at 7. I've been there at 6:40, and there's already a line of people. There's already a line of people at the DMV at 6:40. Oh,
Edward.
And I've been there.
Edward.
But the good thing about being, one of those the good things about being a beefy baby triple ricer, early ricer, that's a reference to film school, is that you get out of there. You get there, they open up, they usually just see you right away, even if there's a couple people in front of you, and then you leave. And if you have to go, if they tell you hey, we need this or that from you, if you carved out a time in your morning, you can go back, get the thing, come back, and still, get through it pretty quickly because people are usually at work or they're not up. Lazy people are not at the DMV. They're not there. So everybody who's there in the morning is because they have business and they're not trying to be there for too long. But 2 p.m. at the DMV, that's not the time to be at the DMV.
Dude, I will never. 6:55 a.m. I won't even be. No.
I've been there.
I get up at 8. I get up at 8:50 every day. It ain't, dude.
I've been at the
DMV. I'll just take the ticket. That was I was like, you know what? I finally got the shit I needed to do done today. I got my license plate. I finally just was like, all right, here, we got the final piece that I need. And, but you know what? I was just like, you know what? The last time I tried was dude, I think it was 9 months ago. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. If I get pulled over, fuck it.
It took
Give me
9
the
months
ticket.
for
I just couldn't. I couldn't. I was like, dude, I don't give a fuck. I'm not. How many
it's like you
afternoons
gave
or
birth.
mornings am I gonna waste?
No, dude, it's like you gave birth to giving a fuck. It's like it took 9 months. It's like you got pregnant, and then 9 months later, a fuck. You like it came out of you, and you're like, oh, it's been given. Now I have to. Now I have to go back to the DMV because now I care again. I care. What is it? The iced tea thing. I care now. Yeah.
I care now. I'm iced tea.
I'm
Yeah,
iced tea.
dude. Yeah. No, dude. I mean, I was like, you know what? I'll just fucking take the ticket. No, and there was some other circumstances that I didn't even give a fuck. There were some circumstances that made it extremely, let's say, pertinent. I don't want to bore everybody with these fucking details, but that made it pertinent to get it done today. I did not give birth to giving a fuck. I happily would have gone.
The world forced it out of you,
months
dude.
longer.
The world forced it out of
you.
you.
Dude,
You were
I would have
pregnant
gone
with
months
fuck,
longer.
and then you were like,
Dude,
I don't need it. Doesn't need to
fuck
come
it.
out. And the world pressed you. They're like, no,
I
you
work
need to,
from
it needs to come
home.
out.
I work from home, man. Cop pulls me over. I don't know, dude. It's my fucking. When did you move here, sir? I don't know. Like
last week.
Something in the past. I don't know. Not today.
No, they were never gonna pull you over for a license plate.
No, dude. I knew someone who was driving. You know that sticker you put on your license plate when you pay your taxes?
Mm-hmm.
I knew someone who was driving around with that thing out of date for like 10 years.
Yeah. They're never going to pull you over,
dude.
Like the issue with that is,
and I'm a good driver too. But go ahead. I was just gonna say, like, I'm a good driver.
No, yeah. The issue with that is that it's like if you do some dumb thing, like when it gets into your head that you go like, I'm gonna do it. Finally, I'm gonna get the thing. Then they go like, it's been 10 years, so you owe us like $10,000, and then you have to pay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude. I had to pay I had to pay a tax today. Like a fucking state tax, like $500.
Yes.
It wasn't because it was late. It was just for having the car.
No, I know, because the same thing.
I was like, how do you guys even know? I'm good for it.
Like,
but it's
dude, I know.
What happens when Joe Schmo, who works down at the Sphinx,
Yeah.
comes down and you're like, you owe us $500?
Yeah, no, dude, I've been there.
I've
been there. Like, this was me last year because I've relocated to a different state than I was before, and it was the same thing to me. I went there, I got through it, even though they threw hurdles at me. They threw hurdles. I told you, they were like, actually, you're missing this thing from your insurance company. I was like, oh wait. It's like, wait, hold my spot. I'm just gonna call him. Like I was like, you guys are not gonna defeat me. I'm not leaving. You're not defeating me, because they always want to defeat you. Like they always want to find a thing, like you said before. They always want to find like a reason to be like, actually, just come back. Because they just want to, because they're procrastinating.
That's their thing.
They love procrastinating. They love just postponing work. They go like, just leave. If they could tell you, they love telling you,
no, sir, that's the, no, sir, that's the 1190, sir.
Yeah, like, dude, if they could tell you, like, hey, could you just leave, please, and come back like tomorrow? They would just say that to you. But they find a reason. They look at all your paperwork and they go like, actually, there was like a missing comma here. It's like, and then they find like an example. And they go like, in this paper, you see, it says Harold Stevenson, comma, driver, and in yours it says Harold Stevenson, driver. There needs to be a comma there. They just find like a bunch of random nonsense. But they were trying to defeat me. This lady, I remember, she was like, sir, we needed to say that you have insurance, and that on this date they changed it on this date, and that they also did this other thing. Because I had it that I had insurance and that I had changed it on this date, but they were like, I also need this other thing that you didn't know on your paper.
You got to hold your ground, dude.
Yeah,
as long as you stand at that fucking counter and don't move, you're good. Yeah, so once you get that spot,
that was the thing.
You gotta fucking, like when a dog holds onto a chew toy.
Yeah, you have to hold it. Yeah, but that was the thing. I was like,
you gotta hold that spot.
I was like, look, I'm gonna call my insurance company. I'm gonna get this sorted out right away. I was like, you guys have printers here? You can print it. Like, it's all cool. We're cool with the gang. And so I did it, and I did it. But after I
Yeah.
did that, then they were like, also you owe us $500. I was like, what? I didn't know this. Oh, I owe you guys money just for driving around in this state. I get it. Okay, here's the money. Scooby.
That's the thing,
Yeah.
dude. That's the thing, dude. People bash, like, conservatives bash liberals, liberals bash conservatives. I gotta say, man, in South Carolina, they don't make you pay no fucking, big ass $500 on tax. But once you get into a state that has a little drop of blue in it, they're like, oh, you owe us this
money.
Shit, that shit,
yeah.
fucking this shit. Oh,
but look, there's something I gotta say, and it is that I would rather, as long as I can afford it, do it, knowing that maybe I live somewhere that cares about people. Because if that money is going to like, hey, we're like funding like Boys and Girls Club and shit like that, it's like, yes, they can take my money. I have no issue with that. So that's me fighting for the the little people. I'll fight for the little people.
Yeah, I guess I only have that. There's only so many $500 payments I'm willing to make before I drop that.
Before you let go and live in Texas. Fuck everybody and go to Texas.
Yeah. No, dude. That's what I'm wondering. I'm like I'm paying this $500 because, dude, she goes, all right, the rest is going to be on your card. First of all, they're like, okay, the $8 fee has to be cash.
Oh,
I'm like,
curve.
What the fuck?
It's quite a curve.
I'm like, are you out of your fuck?
Yeah.
Do you have an ATM? She's like, yeah, back there.
I go to the fucking ATM. And you have to pay the ATM money too because the ATM's not free.
I know. They charged me $3 fucking.
Yeah, so it's a convenience fee.
It's like, okay, you shitheads, I'll pay the fee to get the cash. And then I give her the $8 and she's like, all right, the rest is on your card. I'm like, great. How much is it? She's like, oh, $541. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I look at the thing and it's 541.00. And I'm like, 541?
Yeah,
she's like,
541,
yeah,
like 540.
I'm like,
you thought it was $5.41.
Are you out of your fuck?
Yeah. Oh, God.
But I'm sitting there. This is the point I'm trying to make. I'm sitting there and I'm paying, and I'm like, holy shit, it's like I'm buying a protein bar at Quick Trip. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm just like, yep, here you go, tapping my fucking card. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what happens when Joe Blow, who works at Hobby Lobby,
do you want me to tell you what happens?
Down here,
I can tell you what happens.
And you're like, $500, sir, you owe us $500.
I can tell you what happens.
That dude doesn't have he doesn't have the cash. Yeah. He doesn't have that in his savings. And he doesn't have credit because he's making the minimum payments and he actually owes the credit card.
Dude, I'm going to tell you what happens.
How does he drive?
I'm going to tell you what happens.
Yeah, I know what you're... Yeah, go.
They say to you, you owe us $541. And in this instance, I'm Joe Schmo. And I go like, oh, $541, all right, I got it. And then you start looking into your car, you're like, I got it, I'm good for $541. And then you look at it and it says $541. And so then you or I say, oh, you meant $541. And the lady at the other side goes like, yes, $541. You owe us $541. And he goes like, oh, $541, I don't know. And then the lady says it again. She goes, you owe us $541, but with like more intensity. And this time you start sweating, and you go like, you guys have some payment plans or coupons?
And then Sir, we don't have any payment plans.
Yeah, dude. So after you fail that interaction 3 times, they go, get them! They just like scream. They click a button, and a bunch of people show up and like grab you. They take your keys. They take your car.
Yeah. And they all have Smoker's voice too. They're just like, get him.
Oh yeah, you gotta get through that job somehow, dude.
But yeah, just chain smoking.
But yeah, they take your car.
They all have Smoker's voice. You go up, they're like, you got the title. I'm like, holy shit.
Well, in The Simpsons, Marge, you've seen The Simpsons, like, the Marge's sisters, they work at the DMV.
Yeah, Selma and Patty.
Yeah, and they are
Did they really?
Yeah, they work at the DMV and they are smokers.
Oh shit! Oh, I knew they were smokers. I didn't realize they worked at the
They work at the
DMV.
DMV. Yeah, the Simpsons has
I
like
forgot about that.
1,000 DMV jokes because those characters are just obviously they're recurring, and everything with them is DMV shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I was thinking about the. It's funny. I watched an episode of The Simpsons the other night. Coincidentally, I hadn't watched The Simpsons in forever.
I haven't watched it in forever.
And it was a Selma and Patty centric episode.
Oh, really?
So that's hilarious that you bring that up.
Yeah.
But I was thinking of the Family Guy DMV bit where the guy's standing at the counter and Peter's just like, "No, sir, that's the 1190 shirt. No, sir, don't get snippy with me." You know. God, these fucks. No, you know what happens really is that guy's like, "Well, fuck it. I'm just gonna drive around without the proper plates."
Yeah, they
and
just say
Reggie."
they go like, "Oh, I'll be back then," and then they just
And
don't
then
do
they're
it.
the people on the body cams in the body cam videos. Like, it really is bullshit, dude.
Get down! Get down! 541! 541, really? Get down, sir! Get down! Stop resisting! Stop resisting!
Dude.
Talking about experts and things, the movie of the week is called Magnolia, made by one Paul Thomas Anderson, by whom we will refer to as PTA, not Parent Teachers Association, but Mr. P. Thomas Anderson. 1999. He wrote it and directed it. He also produced it. This was the follow-up to Boogie Nights and the movie that precedes Punch Drunk Love. And this is a very much through and through ensemble film with a bunch of people. Just to rattle off a few: Julianne Moore, John C. Reilly, Philip Baker Hall, Tom Cruise, Philip Seymour Hoffman. I mean, everybody's here. Everybody's in this movie. Anybody who was somebody in the 90s. William H. Macy. Like anybody who is anybody or anybody who was in a previous PTA film is in this movie, including Dr. Octopus, I forget the name of the actor. So everybody's in this movie. This is a 3-hour plus movie. It's like 3 hours and like 10 minutes, and it's again named Magnolia. There's a lot to be said about this movie, and I have a lot of kind of like information. This is my third time seeing this movie. I took a class on Paul Thomas Anderson in college, and it was like a Paul Thomas Anderson, Robert Altman class, because Paul Thomas Anderson's career parallels Altman, like his filmography parallels Altman a lot, especially his early films. And this movie is like has some huge parallels with like some early like 70s, 80s like Altman movies. So there's like a little bit of further watching, further reading for the audience. And those movies I'm talking about are Shortcuts and Nashville, which are like, those Altman ensemble films. But that being said, all that preamble, again, I have like maybe some information to fill in the gaps on certain things, but I just want to listen to you and to your experience with this film. I want to hear what you have to say and what your take is on Mr. PTA's Magnolia.
I can definitely, first, right off the bat, within the first couple minutes, I definitely saw how Zach Crager's Weapons was massively influenced by this
I'm very
movie.
curious about that. And,
I thought
and just a little teaser for maybe like a future conversation. Within the next week or two, I will watch that movie so we can talk about it. For sure.
Nice. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Like
yeah, because
if not by next podcast, by the one after that, I'll watch it.
Hell yeah. All right. No, it's a great movie, dude. But Weapons, was massively, definitely, I could definitely see the influence. Weapons begins very similarly, with the kind of narration, and then obviously with the massive amounts of POVs and just hopping between them. This movie is a bit different. This movie intercuts POVs, where Weapons, obviously I don't want to say too much, but Weapons very much more linear. It takes a little while before you return back to a certain POV. And I think like the structure, honestly, Weapons did the structure a little bit, I don't know if better is the right word, but just more interestingly to me, where it was like it all led to, because the through line was like the mystery in Weapons of like, where the hell are these kids and why did they leave their houses or whatever. And so that's like the through line with all these POVs, and each POV gives you a little crumb of the mystery.
Yeah, with this movie, there's not really a through line, is there?
No, at least not plot wise.
No.
Yeah, obviously, like thematically, there seems to be a through line. I was kind of like watching this movie, and I was trying to kind of figure out like what's this movie really about, and I think it's clear to me. It's clearly about interconnectedness. I think like the interconnectedness of lives of people and the ripple effect. It's like a butterfly effect. It's the ripple effect of your actions and how that ripples outward further than you could even really imagine. Yes. I think that I don't know what the symbolism of the actual magnolia flower is, but I'm assuming I want to say it's like, an explosion, like those petals are reaching outward in many different directions. I don't know. I
don't know. Again,
I'm not sure exactly what that is.
Like I said in the intro to the movie section, I'll fill in gaps where I can in the knowledge that I have of this film. The name for the film comes actually from a street in California. There's like a street called just like Magnolia. And for what I understand is that a lot of these characters' lives are like in this street or in this like strip of California, the Magnolia like strip. So these people are all around each other, like within maybe like miles from each other in this Magnolia strip. So I think the use of the name really comes from the street, and then everything else is just kind of happenstance, like the flower and everything else. I think is just like a little bit of like added, sauce. Like, oh, there's a flower named after, there's this street's name after a flower, so let's use the flower for the film. But I don't think the flower really informs much about the movie. From what I understand. Anyway.
Interesting. All right, that's not what I would have expected. I thought it had something more to it than that, but interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and it's kind of like it seems to be a story about what we decide to do when others depend on us, and this decision impacts us later. So it's like not only the kind of victims are impacted, but also the perpetrators are impacted by it. So like, the game show host is estranged from his daughter. Julianne Moore's character is racked with guilt. The father, his son pisses his pants on the game show. Tom Cruise's character becomes emotionally damaged and toxic.
He becomes Andrew Tate.
And then, of course, you see... yeah.
Literally.
Oh, my God. That was too accurate.
Right? This is a 1999 movie, too.
And that's crazy, because that's before, like, Real Social Dynamics came out. Like, those dudes, RSD or whatever. And, like, is Tom Cruise supposed to be based on Mystery? Like VH1, that guy, the dating coach.
It may be.
He was like on VH1.
I don't know what he's based on necessarily.
He looks like him.
Yeah, but he could be.
I don't know. But Mystery he didn't behave that way. He was just kind of like a dweeby guy. But yeah, like it's way too accurate, because I don't know when like Real Social Dynamics came out, but they were like a big they were like the Tates before the Tates. They're kind of done now, but they had like these big seminars, and now the Tates like seem to do everything digitally, where these guys actually had like these in-person seminars, like Tom Cruise's character, and it was always just like emotionally damaged dudes too. Like they would always have like some sob story, about tough childhoods and stuff. Which I don't, I don't mean sob story to diminish it, but I'm just saying it's interesting in the sense of now they are out here. It's like you kind of after a while when if you're someone who like goes to these boot camps and goes to these seminars with these big self-help figures, when all of them have like troubled childhoods and trauma and troubled pasts, it's like I don't know, maybe you should look elsewhere.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting.
Like we all have our skeletons, but I think people like that, it's like maybe you got to figure out your own shit before at 28 you're like traveling the world, like teaching people something.
Yeah.
Like, get out of here,
Yeah,
man.
and definitely
You're
that's
not
like
teaching. You're not teaching droves of young men anything at like
yeah.
at 30.
Yes,
You
exactly.
know.
And that's definitely like a huge theme of this movie, right? That it's like you said, like this kind of butterfly effect, like ripples, right?
Yeah.
Of like people's actions creating certain, reactions, circumstances, other people's lives, impacting other people's lives and creating kind of the people that they are. And there's a really fascinating parallel between Tom Cruise's character and Claudia's character, who's Philip Baker Hall's daughter, right? Because you have two different characters, one male and one female, right? Who are both people whom I guess, for lack of a better term, they have issues, they have father issues, right? Because of the things that their fathers did in their lives that impacted them. And then the two different people that created, right? But for sure, but go ahead, keep going.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's like it's interesting too because I think that interconnectedness of life and ripple effect that's one of the scariest parts of life. At least if you're like most people, if you're like if you're a sociopath, it's whatever. But most people, I do believe that most people, well, I don't. It's not even that I believe. I think it's pretty evident just from psychological literature and just the behavior of our species as a social species,
Hmm.
human beings as a social species. The baseline is that we care about people. We care about people. We have guilt. We have remorse. Most people feel guilt. They feel remorse. They don't want to cause harm to people. There's degrees to which people care, but I think most people do care on some level. And that's what makes life kind of scary, is like you just don't know how your actions are going to ripple over, outward.
Hmm.
To who knows how many people
Right.
that this kind of cause and effect, again, butterfly effect thing.
Yeah.
At a certain point you do have to just reel that in and just say fuck it, I need to live my life.
Yeah.
And if I'm not out here hurting anybody purposely, then I just got to live my life.
Yeah.
I've had issues with that in the past. Again, I mentioned last week, like I struggled with OCD on and off over the course of my life. Growing up, and that was like a big thing at certain points where I was like, like I would be stuck in like relationships that I didn't like, and I would just be like, oh shit, but what if I break up with her, and then like she's ruined,
yeah, the
and then
cycle
she
of that,
makes
like what happens,
yeah.
like what domino effect do I set into course if I do this?
Yeah, like what
Yeah.
if she becomes an old maid and it all starts with me dumping her? You know what I mean? And it's like you can't think like that. You
Yeah.
can't think like
No,
that.
because
You
then
gotta
then it's like a cause
you,
of
you,
paralysis, right? And I don't think, and I think it's interesting with this movie. But no, finish your point. I don't want to interrupt.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I'll do you one better. Like I know somebody who broke up with someone a while back and they were like, "Hey, they were like yeah, I have nightmares sometimes that I like just it was a perfectly, fine breakup too.
Hmm.
It was just like a regular old thing. There wasn't a big thing. It was just like a, hey, this ain't working out.
Hmm.
And they're like, yeah, I just have nightmares that I ruined her life,
Yeah.
sometimes. And I'm just like, and they obviously talked themselves out of that where they were like, I know it's kind of stupid. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. But also, if breaking up with, it's not, it's kind of like if you break up with someone and their life is ruined because of it, it's kind of their fault. They're kind of choosing to ruin their own life. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Yeah.
Uh, but they're choosing how to respond to it. You know what I mean? So there is well, the point that I'm getting at is like um there's a level of responsibility too that other
Right.
people have
Yes.
of how they're going to respond to you.
Right.
Again, I don't think you shouldn't be going around hurting people like certain characters in this movie do,
Yes.
or abandoning people who you have every responsibility to look after. But there is a line where it's like, hey, you know what? I'm living my life, and if me ceasing to be friends with this person, or me leaving, ruins this person, or me leaving this job sends the company belly up, or me, first of all, number one, it's like we place far too much importance on ourselves when we think like that.
Right.
But also, two, who cares? If you cease being friends with someone and that ruins them, it's like, they they shouldn't be relying on one person. If you leave a company and they go belly up, they shouldn't have been relying on one person. That's not an effective company. You know what I mean? So there is a line.
Yes.
But that being said, there also is, I think this movie is about kind of I think this movie is about examining your actions and really thinking about, before you give in to temptation to kind of do something that's a little bit on the dark side, on the wild side. Yeah. Think about how it's going to ripple out.
Yeah, right. Because that's and I think PTA kind of sets that message pretty well, like with the very beginning of the story, with that little kind of narrated piece when he's like, where you have that guy kind of narrating those three examples, and a good one of that is just like the guy whom gets shot by his mom, right? Because he's like, he loads the gun just for the setup to be like, my mom's gonna kill my dad, or my dad's gonna kill my mom. They hate each other. They're always like pointing guns at each other, and then I'm gonna make sure one of them dies, and I'm gonna also off myself, right? But then that turns into his mom, like his parents killing him, which is fascinating because I think that, that's a pretty good, I mean, that's kind of what this movie is trying to set out to do, right? It's like trying to set out to explain, right? It's like you have all of these characters intermingled with each other, right? And all of these people, without exception, are broken. These are all broken people, and then we kind of examine like how and why are they broken, right? And then it's really just a matter of understanding that it's like things are going to happen, right? Because I think that's kind of part of what PTA is hitting across here. It's like a lot of things happen in life that we think are just happenstance, just coincidence. And I think the idea with it is like, not really, it's not necessarily that it's like, oh, these things happen or these things are kind of magical, right? Because there's like a magical realism element to this movie. But it's like, it's that we set these things into motion, right? That it's like we set these things. Like these things don't just happen. Like there's a line from a beginning to an end of an action, right? And I find that very fascinating. Is there any of these characters' plot lines, like any one of them that like really spoke to you, or any one of them so you were like, I that could have done without that character or without that like plot?
Yeah, there were some that I was more invested in than others, and that was kind of my issue. Where it was like, I think the reason the way weapons did this structure actually worked better, or at least was more entertaining. Because I hesitate to say it worked better because they're two different genres, two different objectives. Yeah. It's not really fair, but with weapons, it was like each point of view was completely necessary to advancing the plot. We need each point of view is completely relevant, and whereas this one, it's like you could take out like maybe one or two before that whole bundle really started to unravel. At a certain point it's going to unravel because stuff crosses over, but I mean, like, you take pants pissing kid out, what happens? I didn't detect it. I could be wrong. Yeah. There's a lot of threads in this. I mean, on Wikipedia, I don't know if you saw on Wikipedia, but there's a character web on Wikipedia that shows the relation between all the characters.
No. I did. I like in this.
I recommend checking that out. It's kind of interesting.
I'll check it out. In this third like rewatch of the movie, though, I made like my own. Like, I'll show you. Like,
really?
I have like very extensive notes with like the character names at the top. Like, I don't know if you can see that. So it's like Jim Curring, like Riley.
Yeah.
And I have like all the like scene breaks, like of all the scenes that he has, and then like the next character, like Julianne Moore's character Linda. Like, I was watching this movie and just like breaking everything. Like, look at all these notes. So I was like breaking down like all the
Look at you, dude.
intersections, all the things that were like meeting, like all the little meanings and all the little repetitions. I was trying to really get on that. But I'll look at Wikipedia.
You structured this movie like Weapons is structured. Because Weapons,
like that.
It's structured like that,
Yeah.
but because of that, think about it. If you actually structured this movie like that with the characters in descent,
it doesn't work.
You guys couldn't see Edward's screen, but
Yeah.
he had all the characters in descending order and just had their events chronologically written out.
Mm-hmm.
The way Weapons did it like that, but it was a a non-linear timeline.
Yeah.
So you would see events twice just from a new point of view, which I always liked that too. I always thought that was cool.
I don't think it works for this movie though. That's that was kind of like the thought that I had watching this movie, because I did think about it. I haven't seen Weapons, but I did think about it because, those are the criticisms for this movie. And by those, I mean that people always complain about the length of this film, And so I was just like, I went into it this time because I watched this movie first. Like I watched this movie once and I had whatever impression I had of this movie, the first time that I watched it, which was not as positive as it then became, the second time. Because then I watched it the second time in the movie theater, on the big screen, big projected, like Blu-ray of the movie, I think it was. And, I know that you know this because I've mentioned this before. There was somebody that I would refer to as just an asshat in the movie theater. Just an asshat, just a complete fucking buffoon. If you went to film school at the same time that we did, you know who this person is. Just somebody whom will go to a movie, doesn't matter what the movie is, horror, drama, doesn't matter what the movie is. They will at some point just laugh and do it, not like snicker to themselves and be like, oh, I guess I found that funny, and like never do it again in the movie, or like leave the theater if they're having an issue. They will just do it. They would like laugh out loud, watching movies, and it's the absolute fucking worst thing.
Like pushing it out.
Yeah, like
too.
just like
pushing the laughter out.
Just like belly laughing,
bellowing.
Yeah.
I'll do you one better, Edward.
Go ahead.
You know what I watched this past week?
Yeah.
I watched the original The Hills Have Eyes.
Oh yeah, that was
Didn't
the
you
one.
do it during that too?
Yeah.
And dude, he retroactively from the past ruined my future. Not ruined but I don't know. I hesitate to say he didn't ruin it, but dampened it. Yeah. Because there were scenes. I wasn't there in the viewing of.
No, you weren't there. I think I went by myself.
This was my first time watching Hills Have Eyes, and I'm watching it, and I could imagine the parts. I knew what parts he was probably laughing at, like whether it was actual comedic parts or parts where the line delivery is just kind of weird. Because it's a '70s movie, and unless it was big budget. 70s movies just were like, it was a weird time. Like you had weird line deliveries. They were kind of like, it was a transitional period in a lot of ways. But there were so many parts in that movie where like a character would deliver a line in a certain way, and I would just be like, "Oh, that fucker! I know he laughed at that part." And
dude.
Didn't someone in that screening tell him to shut the fuck up?
Somebody in that same screening, somebody screamed at him, dude, because he was doing it repeatedly. Like, he was doing it repeatedly. Somebody screamed at him, like, shut the fuck up, like, aggressively. That guy got so angry. And to this day, I don't remember who that guy is, what his name is. If you're listening to this and you were in that screening and you know who that guy is, let me know. DM me. Because that guy's a hero.
Yeah.
That guy's like a hero. That guy's a hero. I wish that guy had been there for the Magnolia screening. Regardless,
to be so self-indulgent, to want everybody in the theater to know I found that funny, and I'm gonna just with bravado just belt it out.
Well, it's not even
fuck you.
Dude, it's not even like indulgence per se, and it is indulgence for sure. That's part of it. But I also found, I found out eventually, not about him, but about people that laugh at scenes in movies. Therefore, people a lot of the time, it's just like lack of maturity and an unwillingness to engage with the content or with the art, Like, and I say this because I remember that at one point, I had made a tradition at that school where I was, every year that they showed the before series films, I would go and watch them. So every year I was watching them, because they would always show them to the first years. So every year I was watching them. And I remember that there was a year that I went, and the people in the crowd, again, they were just first years, a bunch of 17-year-old kids, maybe even younger, some of them 18, whatever. they were laughing at scenes in the movie. They were just laughing, And I was like, I got really
Not a laugh out loud
not a
scene in
laugh
that
out loud
movie.
movie. There's not a scene in that movie where you laugh out loud. And I remember that I left, and I remember I talked to our professor who showed that screening, and he was like, it's just, he said to me, he was like, you have the odd like year. It's like where you get this, people laugh, And he said to me, he was like, it's just a willingness to engage, like an unwillingness, It's like the stuff, serious
Mm.
stuff, romantic stuff or life stuff. And sometimes you get people that watch this stuff and they're somewhere in their life where they're just not willing to sit there and like just engage with it. And I think this is one of those movies, and I think that was the issue for that guy watching this movie, that this is one of those
Mm.
movies that this is like a very self-serious movie, like Magnolia.
It'll make you think about your own life, dude.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, it's like, and it's uncomfortable. Yeah, of course. It's like, no wonder people, goofballs, laugh because
Yeah.
they gotta. It's that tension, man. It's the same reason people laugh when they're being grilled.
Exactly,
It's
because you're
just like,
watching this movie, and again, this movie is very self-serious. There's very few like things in this movie that you could say are comedic, other than like John C. Riley and some of the stuff he does.
mhm,
And this movie is very melodramatic.
mhm.
So it's like,
Yeah.
it's a fucking 3 hour long movie, and the score runs through this movie like a train. Constant music in this movie. If it's not needle drops of songs, it's just constant like orchestration, like constant violins and piano, and like just it's kind of a movie's kind of attacking you like endlessly. And there's parts in this
Mhm.
movie where those things kind of crescendo, and the movie's saying to you like, "This is what's happening." And again, it's like one of those things. It's like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna laugh it off, or like, what are you gonna do? Or are you gonna engage with this stuff? Um, but again, I passed the words to you. What else what do you want to say about this movie? Anything else?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a you brought up a great thing. The score is a really great through line, and it's really it the way they constructed this. It must have been you know it must have been pretty taxing and pretty challenging because it's like it matches up with the emotion of not only one scene but multiple storylines. Because that was honestly, and that's another reason I hesitated to say Weapons did it better because it's not better, it's just different. Because in this movie, it's very interesting to watch that intercutting and to watch characters in similar places at the same time. And
Hmm.
the score is matching, like, you're cutting between like 3 or 4 scenes
Hmm.
and the score is matching all of them,
Hmm.
you know? Um, and I thought that was really well done. And obviously it kind of comes to a crescendo when they're all singing that same song. Um, that was like the biggest moment of that. That was the most in your face version of that. Um, but yeah, it was really well done throughout the movie. But yeah, I thought to go back to your original question, like the storylines I was most invested in were Tom Cruise's. I would say his was probably the most I was the most invested in. Um, because just seeing this kind of Tate like figure, I just knew the movie was going to deconstruct that. I just knew that. Like when he's up there talking all this nonsense, um, you know,
Yeah,
it
I'm in the
was
Wikipedia page.
it
Like I
was
saw
way too accurate, man.
I saw on the Wikipedia page that at the bottom it said like, see also fragile masculinity for like further reading about this movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
fragile.
Yeah, and it's all just a bunch of it's so funny too, like, the self-help stuff because it's all just a bunch of, like, goofballs in the audience who aren't even gonna really, like like, let's say the speech was, like, actually helpful, which, like, you watch, like, Tony Robbins videos or something, and it's like, yeah, there's some stuff in there that's good,
Right.
Like, Tom Cruise's shit was obviously like, it was a parody, it was complete bullshit. On par with like Andrew Tate,
Yeah.
you know, on par. I mean, it's like almost the same thing. Um, but you watch someone like Tony Robbins, and it's like, it's like, yeah, how many people in the audience are actually going to take any of this to heart and actually improve their lives? Like maybe a bit off topic, but I was kind of thinking about this past week. Like, um, I just think like development advice. It can only really like help those who don't need it, you know?
Mhm.
Actually, I don't know if I really want to go down that path because that's a whole other can of worms. I'll talk about that another time. But anyway, my point is like, you know, the whole you know, scene with or those scenes with Tom Cruise, you know, given his whole spiel. It's just a bunch of goofballs in
Yeah.
the audience, you
Yeah.
know. They're not gonna go. They're not gonna go out. They're certainly not gonna go out there and start, you know, just getting a bunch of women. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's and what's interesting about it is that's him paying it forward, paying
Yeah.
the pain forward.
Yeah.
You know, because he's guys like that, you know, like RSD and Andrew Tate, they cause men, their audience, you know, and women, even more pain.
Yeah.
They you know, because they already have like these broken men kind of come to them,
Yeah.
and then they just give them all this topsy-turvy advice,
Yes.
this overcomplicated advice, this sort of never-ending journey
Mhm.
that is, you know, of course, full of products to buy from them.
Yes. Courses
You know,
and booklets.
like I think
and, yeah.
courses, yeah, it's just like a never-ending journey. You
Mhm.
never get where you want to be. You
Yeah.
know,
It's a grift.
like it's just always out of reach. Like that's the way they're it's kind of funny. Like I've seen like real social dynamic seminars before, and you would think it's like there's a lot of positivity to stuff like that.
Mhm.
They're actually really bleak and negative,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like I would come away from like when I was younger, impressionable, I would like watch some of that content, like real social dynamics. If you're listening, don't look them up. Don't even go down the rabbit hole. Like it was the 2000s and 2010s version of Tate stuff.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Like I never fell too deep into
There's
it,
always
but
a
I
grift
used
to
to
that
listen to
stuff.
some of their. Yeah, I used to listen to some of their stuff. It's like Tony Robbins. It's like Tony Robbins meets like Tom Cruise's character in this.
Mhm.
Obviously it's like less comically misogynistic than Tom Cruise's character, or even a guy like Andrew Tate. But anyway, like their speeches are actually really negative and
Yeah.
like really discouraging because they basically like the main guy, Owen Cook or whatever, he would make fun of people in the audience and say like, oh, this guy's a chode, but you could be more, but you probably won't be, you know, and just shit like that. And it's like, what the fuck?
Spinning people down.
Yeah, it's just like, what is this? You know, and he would
Yeah.
like call people up and do little activities
To
with
humiliate
them or
people.
like exercise with, yeah, and just humiliate them. And it's like,
Yeah.
what is this? Like, what are we learning from this? You
Yeah.
know, like it's just they're actually really negative seminars. And same
Yeah.
with Tom Cruise's thing in here. It's like it's really negative.
Yeah.
You know, it's not helping anybody. It's just spreading pain.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
which
and-
again, that's what this movie's about.
Yeah, and it's I love the interview scene with Tom Cruise. Like that interview with him and the reporter. I love that
Yeah.
because because you know that she is already, you know that she's like outsmarting him, and she already has like she has him figured
Yeah.
out, and she's gonna lull him into just giving false answers to things he already knows the answers to, and just like then reveal like actually I know the answer to this, you know. Because obviously she came into that with her intentions of basically making like an expose, right? And he just
Yeah.
kind of walks into that, and he's like, "Oh shit," you know. I love that line of his where he says like, "I'm quietly judging you." You know, I love that line. But it's fascinating, right? Because it's like it exposes him. You know that it's like, oh, you're just a guy with like wounds that you have basically just like covered up with lies. You know, you have like he does this thing in this movie like a few times where he just like pauses, right? He does that in that scene. He does that when he's on the phone, and he does that when he steps into his dad's house, right? He has these like pauses, and he just like has this long, like quiet, like pauses, right? That just feels like it's him either deciding to dig something up or just to dig it back down, you know, or like to put it back down or whatever. So it's very fascinating. Like he's clearly just somebody like doing a lot of compartmentalizing, you know, and a lot of
Yeah.
kind of just like archiving, you know, and it takes a lot out of him to to go to his dad's house and do that whole thing because he's like in his car, sitting in his car after the seminar, just like quietly in his car, like what, you know, like oh my god. but yes, I think there's like that theme running through this movie because the characters repeated a few times where they talk about the past, basically meaning that it's like if there's things there that you have like these kind of like, I guess, like, stuff that you haven't dealt with, stuff that's just kind of like in the back of your mind or whatever, shit that you're not dealing with. That stuff is going to basically make it so it's guiding your waking hours, Him ignoring like this stuff with his dad is like, and the stuff that happened with his mom and everything is just like, it created a monster in him. And now he's just, like you said, just kind of like passing on pain onto everybody, And then with Philip Baker Hall, it's like, and it's interesting because I think the movie, there's like an interesting element with this movie of how they utilize sickness, right? Because we see that the people who have done that their entire lives, Philip Baker Hall, right? He's a character like Claudia's dad. I mean, like Tom Cruise's dad in Earl Partridge, right? He's a character that did a lot of wrong and messed up a lot of people and like did a lot of stuff that was bad to people, And in the movie that we have this kind of like, not even implied, it's kind of like very kind of, it's kind of clear cut that he did something to his daughter, right? So we get these two guys,
That was a twist,
right?
Holy shit!
But
it's funny because just to jump in real quick, I was kind of, when she was that angry at him, that crossed my mind because I'm like, well, what did he do?
Yeah.
And I was like, did he walk out on her? And then there was like that little voice in my head, like, did he molest?
No, he did it. Like, he did that.
And I was like, nah. Yeah. I totally brushed it off and I forgot about it. Yeah. And then when it happened, I was like, holy shit, I was right.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting. Again, dude, this is one of those movies that it's like, I would encourage you, regardless of how you feel about this movie, I would encourage you to, at some point, if it comes across your mind, watch this movie again. Because this movie, like, it's one of those movies that, like, pays off in repetition. Because it's, like, so charged.
I can already tell.
And there's a lot of performances that are informed by a lot of dialogue and a lot of writing. A lot of performances are informed by this stuff, that's going on with them. But like the point I'm trying to get across is that with Philip Baker Hall and with Tom Cruise's dad, they're both two old guys that did a lot of bad things, and they never came through. They never kind of made up for that, and they're both dying. They're both sick and dying. So I think there's an element of the movie that's kind of trying to say, like, this is what happens, Like, if you are one of these people, this is like what happens, you're like alone and sick, But I found that fascinating. But yeah, anything else, any other points you want to make about this movie? Things that you maybe didn't like? I know that you've said that you prefer the execution and weapons, but anything else that you have?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I think obviously I'm just kind of a horror lover, obviously I love drama too, but it's again, there's ways you could compare it to weapons, but they're also both trying to accomplish very different things. So I don't want this to, my whole thing to be like a whole weapons comparison, but especially because weapons were made after. So I mean, this movie doesn't have to, has nothing to own up to. But I think what's interesting about their the two old men too is like, even if they weren't dying, it's like it kind of doesn't really matter. No. Like you can't undo any of that.
No.
No. You can't undo any of it. Like that's what I thought. Like when the guy, I mean, certainly the guy who molested his daughter. It's like,
you can't undo anything.
You're forfeit. Like just
done.
That's forfeit, man.
And Tom Cruise's dad dies in the movie.
Yeah. But then Tom Cruise's dad, with him, I'm obviously a little more sympathetic because again, he didn't touch a kid.
Yeah.
But with Tom Cruise's dad, it's like I kind of had this feeling when he was confessing. It was like, who cares, man? It's like you're about to die. It doesn't matter now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing. His speech about regrets was like the best part of the movie.
Yeah, it was a great speech, right? It was a great speech because it really informs where he's at, right? Because he regrets all that,
Mm-hmm. Because he's got nothing left. Like there's nothing. I think that's kind of what the problem is like when you have regrets at 27.
Yeah, you can just kind of push them aside.
It's like, like I have regrets right now. and I'm like, well, it kind of just informs my decision making moving forward, and I have a good laugh about them.
Mhm.
I still sometimes am like, holy shit, like fucking like, can we invent time travel so I can fucking change some shit? Like,
Yeah.
dude, they're like, the one I'm talking about. Um, yeah. But at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, you got to just let it inform your future decision making. But yeah, when you're at the end of your life, it's like that's probably all you have, and you're
Yeah.
in like the position of Tom Cruise's father. It's all you got left, man. And yeah, it's hard, but it's like, hey, shit, dude, you're about to die. Like, no matter what, your life's
You're
it's
done.
forfeit,
Yeah.
man. I mean, it's over,
Yeah.
and that's such an interesting thing, because it's like, at what point do you even care about the ripple effect of your actions anymore?
Mhm.
Because once you cease to exist, like once you don't exist, then nothing really exists,
Right.
pretty much.
Right.
So it's like, uh, you know,
Yeah.
it's whatever. But yeah, it's too big of a concept to even really break down adequately.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I don't even know kind of where I'm going with it. It's like these are ideas that are so complex. It's like you just got to spitball about them, and
Yeah.
they're just beyond the scope of even a podcast,
This
which is
was
my excuse for such a shitty podcast that I've
this
created with my friend here.
this
No.
was Tom Cruise's like last Oscar performance. He was nominated for this. He had been nominated a couple times for like a leading actor, and then he was nominated for supporting actor for this movie, and then he was the third and last. He hasn't been nominated again. But it's
Yeah.
interesting because I wish he had won for this movie because I thought he did just a fantastic job. Because there's a lot to his character. Like when that reporter's like interviewing him, he even has like a little bit of like a tick. Like when she says certain things, he kind of like flinches a little bit with like his eye, like, oh, this, like I like his performance has so many layers, and he has such like a big guard, and I love that scene when he comes into the room, to see his father. Hasn't seen him in like 10 years plus, and he just breaks down. And Philip Seymour Hoffman, I adore Philip Seymour Hoffman, and he's so fucking great in this movie. Um, but regardless,
Yeah.
um,
I miss Philip Seymour
I
Hoffman.
miss Philip Seymour
man.
Hoffman, man. Too soon, man. The guy was like 45 or like 50 or something like that. Now his son's acting. His son is in Licorice Pizza, which is, the latest Paul Thomas Anderson movie before the new one comes out with DiCaprio. And I think his son is also in a movie coming out called like The Longest Mile or something like that. Summer Hoffman's son is in that too. But he was
Is
such
it
a
The
gift.
Long Walk, the
Yeah, The
Stephen
Long
King
Walk.
movie?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Seymour
yeah,
Hoffman's son is in there. If you see the movie, you probably recognize him because he kind of looks like Philip Seymour Hoffman. But
yeah.
what a gifted
You know,
actor.
I know, man. It's I miss that guy. Like whenever I see Philip Seymour Hoffman in a movie, I'm just like, yes.
Yes, he was.
You
He
know?
was the man. He was the man, man. And and nobody's squeezed him more than PTA because he's like in every PTA movie except for There Will Be Blood. But nobody squeezed more out of that guy than PTA did. And he's so
Is he not
amazing
in
in
There
this
Will Be
movie.
Blood? He's not,
No, he's
is
not in
he?
There Will Be Blood. No.
I almost feel like I can picture him in that oil field with like 1800s
It would be
clothing on.
hilarious if he was in there.
Holy
He's not in
shit,
there
dude.
though.
Oh my god, he's not in. Is he in Phantom Thread? He's not in Phantom
No, because he's
Thread.
dead.
No,
He's
that was
died.
after his death.
Yeah, he died
That's
after.
that's right. That was after he died. Yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah.
died like in
You're right.
2013.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
but
I watched a few weeks ago. I watched Almost Famous for the first
oh, you've
time,
seen that
and
too.
yep,
It's a
he's
great
in
movie.
that. Oh yeah, yeah. Almost Famous is great.
It's a
I
great movie.
remember Janos used to show us that clip.
Yeah, he loves that movie.
He showed us
The one with the
that same
apples, like
clip
he
from that
traded you
movie.
for a pack of beer. Like that scene,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
What kind of beer? Yeah.
yeah.
Great movie.
Great
I love
movie.
that movie.
Great movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was good.
But any closing thoughts on this movie? Or what would you rate this film in any case?
Yeah, a couple quick things. The expose. I maybe self help and all that stuff was just more prevalent in the '90s than I realized.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Tony Robbins was around in the '90s, but I mean, I was born in '98. You were born in '97,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
we're basically 2000s kids.
Yeah.
We're not '90s kids, really.
Yeah.
But and because it's like it's almost like this movie had really predictive powers as far as like the fake guru stuff goes.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I have seen that video of a reporter exposing fake gurus like on camera, and they're like sweating.
Yeah.
That happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like
Somebody has
you know,
to
some
expose
guys like
Yeah.
Andrew Tate are better at like talking themselves out around it, you know, and kind of like, you know, like they're like Donald Trump, where it's like no matter what you say, they'll just have
They're just
some
yapping
response.
about something, and
You
they're
know,
just going
that
to
you'll
like
never,
you
yeah,
won't get
you'll
those guys.
never.
Yeah.
These reporters need to figure. That's what they need to figure out with like Donald Trump. You're never going to get a gotcha on because he's
Yeah.
just going to keep going. That mouth is just going to keep.
Yeah, and
running,
they have to
you
figure
know
out how
what I
to
mean?
do it. They have to figure out like, how do I get this guy? Somebody has to figure out that puzzle for sure.
Yeah, there's no way. But most of them are jellyfish, you know, and they crack. They
The crack.
squish under pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like there was like this one fake guru, just this garbage guy that like, because I'm a big fan of a lot of the big reason I know about a lot of these guys. People are probably wondering like, how do you know about all of these guys? I promise I don't fucking buy any of their
No,
products.
that's not how you
or,
spend your time.
you know, no,
Yeah.
I'm a fan of CoffeeZilla's YouTube channel, the guy who exposes all these
Yeah,
guys.
Coffee was pretty good.
Yeah, CoffeeZilla is awesome. I love CoffeeZilla, but he exposes all these people. He even went on Joe Rogan and talked about it, which I
did
thought
go
was
on Joe Rogan.
awesome to
Yeah.
spread that awareness. Because people, I mean, that is an epidemic. Ty
Mhm.
Lopez like started it in
Mhm.
2014 or whatever,
Mhm.
and that shit is.
It's funny because I saw like a meme, or like a meme, but like a post with Ty Lopez,
Yeah.
like, you know, like that shot, that OG shot of him is in his garage in front of the car.
Here in my garage, yeah.
And the post just said like we used to make fun of these guys, you know. It's like, what happened, you know?
I know, man. Yeah, we used to make fun of them, and it's like, yeah, they just they cause you to like overthink life too.
Yeah.
You know, again, it's like it can only help the people who don't need it. That's my. I want to go more into that on another episode, but no. So I saw that CoffeeZilla had a video about this one guy. What was the guy? I think it was like Adrian Grushka or something like that. Something weird. I have no idea how I remember the name because I saw this video a long time ago. But he had like a bunch of different fake guru businesses, like a make money course, blah blah. Because a lot of them, they're not successful at it. So what they do is they just hop around,
Mhm.
you know, until like something sticks.
Mhm.
It's like they're living paycheck to paycheck off fake courses. It's so weird. It's like how are you? I'm too lazy to do that. Even if I did grift people, it's like I'm
Yeah.
lazy.
Yeah.
Too lazy for that. I'm not lazy, but I'm too lazy for that. But anyway, this guy, he had a dating fake guru course, and he would have all these videos where he approaches girls on the street and gets their number. And so he's in an interview, and the interviewer says, "So take a look at this." He hands him a sheet of paper, and he's like, "So all these people in your video, we found their headshots on these paid
they're
actor
actors.
websites."
Yeah.
He's like, "Isn't that weird?" And the guy's like, "Huh, look at that."
Isn't
You
that
know?
weird? How funny.
And the guy's like, "So you hired all these people?" And the guy's like, the fake guru goes, "That's right. I mean, that's not right." And he's just sweating, dude. He's like, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah.
And then he just goes like, "I think this is over," you know. And he like walks out. You know? It's
Yeah.
like, you fucking snake, man. But it's hilarious because it's like this movie predicted it. You know,
Yeah.
I know exposés have been done before,
Yeah.
but these very specific fake guru exposés.
Yeah, there's a fake guru
And
expose.
And another thing about these fake dating gurus that you have to understand that, again, this movie had weird predictive powers of is, and again, this is like from watching CoffeeZilla stuff and other kind of exposés on fake gurus, is the fake dating gurus in particular. There's a pattern. They all had like mommy issues.
Yes.
They had mommy issues, and that's what they're doing with the fake the dating grift. They're trying to, and all the cold approaching and all that stuff, they're trying to find their mother in all these girls.
Yeah, and that's the funny and that's the funny thing, right?
It's like Don Draper,
yeah,
Mad Men, or
and
whatever.
that's the funny thing. I think about Don Draper often too, funnily enough. But that's the funny thing that it's like, and that's kind of like the message of this film, right? It's like you have to deal with these things, you know, like you have to deal with these things. You have to like it's funny, like it's the hardest thing, right? It's like, but all of these characters in this movie, they all have to deal with this stuff. It's like, how do you face the music? You know, that's really the question. It's like, how do you face the music? Some people just never do it. Some people do it on their deathbed. You know, and it's like, how do you do it? You know, how do you say, like, there's things here that I have to reassess. I have to wrestle with this. I have to come to terms with that. You know, very fascinating. Any other points that you have?
Yeah, one last thing I was gonna say. Julianne Moore's character. We haven't really talked about her, but I really loved that revelation that she's a gold digger who fell in love with real.
him, and now she feels guilty
you don't
about
often.
it. Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing, though. I don't actually know if she really fell in love with him. I think she just grew to care about him as a person.
Yeah.
I don't know if she actually, because like that raw attraction for somebody, that desire for somebody, I don't know if that would really happen if like a gold digger just marries some way older guy for his money and cheats on him all the time.
It's possible.
But I guess, but I don't think so. I think, especially after a long time of knowing him.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't know about that, but I do. I think the nuance there, and this again, we can only speculate about it because we don't see it. But it seems like it's just that she realized, oh, this guy's an actual human being. Just because he's some rich guy, he's a human being, and I'm stepping out on him and hurting him and living this lie.
Yeah.
And I care about him.
Yes.
Like at the end of the day, she probably lived with him for decades.
Yes.
And yeah, but I think that's the nuance, because I think it might be tempting for people to misinterpret that as like, she actually really developed feelings for him and fell in love. I don't think she fell in love with him. I think she just grew to love him as a human being,
for sure,
like a brother or a father figure.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know if she was suddenly like, oh, you know, man, I really like this guy. Yeah. Oh, this guy's amazing. I'm attracted to him.
Yeah,
like,
no, you're absolutely right. You're on the money with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one thing about her, she avenged every customer who fell victim to a nosy employee.
Oh, right, dude, right?
Who is the cab driver for Better Call Saul, by the way. But it was so funny because I thought back to college. I had a couple moments like that where I didn't. I didn't flip out like she did, but I had a couple moments where it was like, "What the fuck? What are you asking me these questions for?" Like I remember one time in the mailroom, like I asked for a package. I was like, "Package big," you know. And the guy goes back there, and then he grabs it. He's like scanning stuff, you know, and he's like, "So what do we get?" And I'm like, "Fuck? What? I hardly think that's any of your business."
Yeah.
So I felt Julianne Moore in this scene.
Yes.
Like, oh, you got a lot of stuff. Fuck you.
Yeah. She just goes around flipping off on people. It's like flipping her lid on everybody.
It was great. It was great. Yeah. But that's it was good stuff, man.
Yeah.
I liked it. You know, it's a little long. You know, it's
they don't make these kind of movies
it's
anymore.
not. No. I mean, not these kind of dramas. Well, kind of. Oscar ones, you know, Oscar season.
Yeah, but I mean, like this like ensemble, like 3+ hour, like super indulgent, like movie.
Yeah.
You know, I don't see these movies very often.
Well, this is an interesting structure, usually reserved for rom-coms, because you think of movies.
They have some of those, don't they? Like those, like I Love You, or like Happy Valentine's, or whatever. Like Valentine's Day, those kind of movies.
Love Actually, The Holiday. What's that other one? He's Just Not That Into You. There's a bunch of these where it's like interconnected stories, and they're usually rom-coms. And I've always my mileage varies with them. Like some of them I like, some of them I don't. But it's always interesting how playing with these character webs. Yeah. Because that's how life is. Yeah. It's this big freaking web of people who interact, and there's a couple rungs up the web you're never going to meet. But then there's one middle rung that knows both of you. Yeah. You know? It's very interesting. Yeah. But I would give this movie probably a 7 out of 10. Like, I thought it was really good.
That's fair. Yeah. This was like I said, this was after Boogie Nights. Boogie Nights obviously was like a huge success. And this is what has been come to be known as the blank check movie. This is the movie where you made that movie. You made Pulp Fiction, and now you get to make Jackie Brown, and you made Boogie Nights, and
Yeah.
now you get to make Magnolia. You made Whiplash, and now you got to make La La Land. This was that movie for
Mm.
BTA. This was the movie where it's like I made a big successful movie that went to the Oscars and might not have won anything, but was nominated for a bunch of stuff, made a bunch of money, and now I got a blank check and I can make whatever. For old PT, his dad passed away. Um, because his father, very similar to Tom Cruise, was like a very older guy, and he like passed away from a very similar disease to the one that Tom Cruise's dad's character passes away from. So this was kind of just
Okay.
like a getting out all my stuff, getting out all my trauma and all my sadness, movie, and just kind of put it all down, and it made it into this huge kind of sprawling movie. But again, long ass movie. And sometimes it can be like, oh, this is kind of too long. I know that because even in this viewing of this movie, like in an hour and 10 minutes in, I was like, oh, this is long. And then that feeling kind of comes in waves. Because then after that you get the Tom Cruise reporter stuff, and then it's like there's like a lot of shifting stuff, but it has like kind of lulls in there, and that are just kind of baked into the movie. Um, and it's
Yeah, and it
interesting.
is a little indulgent
Yeah, it's
and
indulgent for sure.
melodramatic.
Again, it
Whereas
was
like
like
a movie like Boogie Nights is like similar length. I mean, it's like
yeah,
2.5 hours, but
yeah,
it's just wildly fast paced and entertaining.
yeah,
You know, and again, like this movie's ideas, I think interesting than Boogie Nights, but ideas are like that's the
so
base
you
of
make of
your
them.
cake.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like that's the base. That's your you know yeah, that's like your flour and your raw egg you need, but eh, then you need some like it needs a kick, it needs some spice, it needs some more. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And like so it only gets you so far. And this movie does have great it is entertaining.
yeah,
Um, but 3 hours, it's not quite enough to carry it 3 hours to the degree that this would be like a 9 or a 10 for me. Like I
yeah,
could give it an 8. It's definitely a strong 7.
yeah. So all that, and like I said before, it was his blank check movie, but not only was it his blank check movie, it was his final cut film, meaning that he had final cut in this movie. Like nobody could say to him otherwise. He didn't have final cut in Boogie Nights. And for those who may not be aware of what final cut means, it means that when you draft your contract with whatever production studio or whatever distribution companies budgeting and like giving you the money for your film, some directors get final cut in their movie, meaning that the movie is as they want it to be. Nobody can say otherwise. Nobody can say actually you should cut those 20 minutes. Nobody can say anything. It's just whatever the director made. That's what the movie is, and this is a final cut movie. So he made this movie, and he was like, "I'm happy with this movie," and everybody else had to shut it. He won no Oscars for this. No, he was nominated for 3 though. Tom Cruise, and I think editing and writing. I think those were the Oscar nominations. Let me see. Supporting actor for Tom Cruise. Oh, best music, original song for the song "Save Me" that they have that little like kind of bridge section of the movie where everybody's singing along. And then best writing. Those were the nominations for Magnolia, which I think is kind of like under nominated. This definitely deserved like a best directing nomination for sure. I think it deserved best director.
Yeah.
And best picture for sure. And this is kind of like this, and then I always think of Punch Drunk Love as like a bridge, is kind of the end of this period of formalism in terms of technique for PTA. A lot of Steadicam, a lot of zooms and whip pans, a lot of like, intercutting and cross-cutting and fading audio into one scene from the other and overlapping techniques and like all of that, all of the nonsense, all of the cranes, all of that, all of the Scorsese, Robert Altman stuff, all those rapid cameras and handhelds and all of that nonsense, all of that like 70s, 80s nonsense is gone. We go to Punch Drunk Love and it's kind of like transition. Because then when you get to There Will Be Blood is a very classical film, in terms of its execution, very John Ford, David Lean execution, not any of this. So this is kind of like this movie And again, I always think about Punch Drunk Love that the bridge ends this period of PTA's career and his artistic evolution, which is what I love about him as a filmmaker. That he's somebody who evolves, you know. I don't even think you can even fucking say that about Tarantino. Tarantino just feels like he's always making kind of the same movies. And his filmmaking style is kind of the same across all the movies. Very kind of just the same. But with Paul Thomas Anderson, it's like this guy, the guy that made Boogie Nights, made this shit, made The Master, and There Will Be Blood, you know, which films like films
He
with different
became a
directors.
different director.
Yes.
I mean, Punch Drunk Love and There Will Be Blood, like those are two completely different movies.
Yes.
He
Yes.
really evolved.
Especially when you think about
Because it's like Punch Drunk Love really was the end of this PTA.
Yes, it was the
like
end.
you said. Because then
was
you
the
have
end.
There Will Be Blood,
Mhm. The
Miami
Master.
Vice,
Yeah.
Phantom Thread, The Master, and those are all like a different director, but they're all the same.
Phantom Thread.
But
Yeah.
it's like there's two PTAs.
Yeah, exactly. And I think about it. I think about it that way. It's like there's a version of him that made these movies in his like late 20s or early 30s, right? That made these movies, and it's very clear what the influences are. They was wearing them on the sleeves. It was very Scorsese. It was very Altman. You know, like this. You know, it was very clear. It was very like Jonathan Demme, the guy that made Silence of the Lambs. So it was very clear. And then you jump to these other movies, like his movies that he was making in his 40s with There Will Be Blood and The Master and Inherent Vice and Phantom Thread. And it becomes clear again that it's like, oh, now the influence are Kubrick and John Ford and Lean. Like he traded the 70s guys for like the 60s guys, you know, and he was like, actually, I'm going to go do that instead. And that to me, that's my favorite period of his career. That's where I feel like he's made his best films. There's a lot of people who always swear by Boogie Nights and by this movie and Punch Drunk Love. And I love those movies, obviously. To me, this movie continues to be a 9 out of 10. That's my Magnolia rating. I gave it a 7 the first time I watched it. I give it a 9 the second time. I give it a 9 again. I think it's an incredible movie. Incredible. I watched this movie and I was like, I don't know how somebody makes this. You know, it's just to me it feels like a magnum opus, just like a tour de force filmmaking. It's insanity. You know. And it feels like the apex of this style. So I'm happy that he was like, I'm done with that, because it felt like if the movie feels so like maximalist that it's like you can't do this shit again. Like if you make a 3-hour movie of this style of filmmaking, you're done. You know. So I'm happy that he did this movie. I'm happy that it's fucking great, and I'm happy that he went on to make better movies. To my opinion, you know. Anybody who loves Boogie Nights, whatever, I don't care. Like I always think Boogie Nights like his weakest movie. Like it's like his weakest movie. The Boogie Nights and the other one, Hard Eight, to me are always like the weakest PTA movies, and then the other ones are just better.
I love Boogie Nights. What do you give Boogie Nights out of 10?
It's an 8 out of 10. Like I think it's great. I think it's like bottom tier. Like I think it's like such like a Altman Scorsese ripoff. It doesn't feel like the true voice of the director as like a person. It just kind of feels like Boogie Nights, whatever. Like anybody could have fucking made that movie.
It is so Scorsese.
Yeah, anybody could have made that movie.
movie.
You know, like when you look at Boogie Nights and then you look at anybody who apes Scorsese, like even when you watch a movie like I, Tonya, it's like that style is so replicable. Like it doesn't feel like anybody. It just feels like a movie that was made by somebody that really liked Alman and Scorsese, you know? Like this movie, Magnolia, feels like the PTA movie in that style. It feels like the first actual Paul Thomas Anderson movie aping Scorsese and Alman. And then it feels like every movie they made after this movie is actually like a movie by the guy, you know? But that's that for that. I think what I've been able to achieve by showing you this and Hard Eight is that now you've seen every essential movie, in my opinion, of his. Like I think this is essential PTA and Boogie Nights and Hard Eight and Punch Drunk Love and There Will Be Blood and The Master and Phantom Thread. To me, that's like essential viewing. Inherent Vice and Licorice Pizza, it's like that's kind of like a side quest in PTA's filmography. You don't have to watch those movies. You don't get anything from them. Like they, you know, they're kind of like bridges.
Did I say Miami Vice when I was talking about it? I did?
Yes. But they're bridges. Like Licorice Pizza, like I've seen Licorice Pizza, I've seen Miami Vice like 20 times. They're bridges. You know, they're not essential. You've seen all the essential films. So all of that being said, I want you to go a little bit, or not a little bit. I want you to talk about your recap that we haven't been able to talk about with the time.
Oh yeah. Thank you, Edward. I'll take it from here. Well, I want to start with let me see. Oh, Edward's got an intruder.
No,
Oh
no.
boy. Oh shit. Okay. Thought I was gonna have to call somebody for you there. No.
Call the cops.
Well, I'll do my most recent recap, which was this morning. I had the news on in the background, and they were grilling. They were grilling Robert F. Kennedy or whatever.
Oh yeah, they keep
Congress.
grilling that guy.
They were like grilling him. I just had the news on because sometimes I leave TV on at night to deter burglars, and like in my living room, and so I still had it on this morning, and I'm kind of like just walking in and out, and the Congress is grilling him.
They want him to resign.
RFK sitting. Yeah, and of course RFK is just sitting there like.
Yeah, he looks like a pressed tomato.
Yeah, vaccine. Yeah. And dude, the funniest shit was every time he wasn't talking, nobody told him this, but I guess how do you tell him? But the microphone was still up to his face. Yeah. So anytime anyone was talking, you just hear him.
What were you doing? It's not registering. Do it louder.
Oh, okay. I was making like a snoring note, like. He's just like breathing. You can't hear that. He's just like breathing. You can hear him breathing. He's married to like Cheryl Hines, like Larry's wife, in Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's his wife. And you could see people like they would like briefly pause, like they would be grilling him, and they would be like, "And Robert F. Kennedy wants to," because his breathing would like interrupt. Yeah, like, it was just carrying through the entire hall. Yeah. It's like holy shit, and I was like waiting for someone to like tap him or just say like, "By the way, Robert, if you move the mic away from your face when you're not talking, thank you. Thank you for being here, Mr. Kennedy." No one did it. Every time I walked through, just I'm like.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Go on.
Go on,
sir.
Let me see. I watched. Of course, I watched. Let me see. I rewatched Superbad. That's a classic.
Yeah, Superbad's a classic.
Yeah, I watched that this past week.
It's interesting because I feel like there was like for like a couple weeks ago. It felt like there was like an increased algorithmic, like I think it was like the 10 or like 20-year anniversary. I think that's what it was. Yeah, it had an anniversary, so it was a topic of conversation for a bit online.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, the reason I put it on was because a bunch of people Friday night bonfire, and then afterward, my girlfriend and I were. Had quite a few drinks, and we didn't really want to pay attention to anything, so I looked up best movies to put on when drunk, and that was the first one that came on.
Boogie Nights, Superbad.
Boogie Nights would be a good one, actually. No, so I put on Superbad, and that's a great experience when you're intoxicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun because it's a party movie, But that's a very 80s party movie,
Yeah.
80s sex comedy,
yeah,
but in the 2000s,
for sure,
Yeah. And I just love I love the through line, how they're all like on this great adventure to get to this party,
yes,
and they keep going on these side quests and getting separated.
It's a great day movie. Like a lot of it happens like within a day or like a couple of days or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think the whole thing's just in one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's great because you really get that feeling. Like I remember in college when we would party hop, and it was just like, oh shit, let's get to this party.
Yeah, you're on an adventure.
Yeah, and you'd be with a group, and then maybe they'd split off and go somewhere else.
Yeah,
and then maybe you'd see them like 2 hours later.
Yeah.
Well, where'd you guys go? Oh, you won't believe what happened to us.
Here.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you won't believe what happened there. Oh, we went. Just it was great, and that's the feeling that movie captures.
Yes.
And then I watched as you could probably guess who had me watch this movie, but Princess Diaries.
Oh, I know that was your choice. I know that you love the Princess Diaries movies.
Look, I suggested Heat, but it was her pick because she suggested Princess Diaries.
Yeah, I would love to
Diaries.
watch Princess Diaries over Heat any day. Any day. Princess Diaries over Heat. Anne Hathaway over Robert De Niro.
Yeah, Princess Diaries is fine. I had never really seen it.
I've seen them. I've seen one and two. I've seen both of them.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't that engaged with it. I like chick flicks too, like watching chick flicks with my girlfriend.
Dude, I love chick flicks.
Yeah, dude, I'd love them. Like when I'm, with a girlfriend, or if my mom and my sisters, I'm visiting family, they want to put on a chick flick. I love watching chick flicks with the women in my life.
Yeah,
like I love that, dude. And I'm not above watching one by myself either, if I'm interested.
Boo!
Generally, yeah, right, pussy.
Bringing Tom Cruise.
Yeah. More often, I'm rewatching things like The Shield and Heat, but and yeah. So anyway, and then of course, as I said, I watched for the first time the original.
Dude, I have to say this because of the lighting and where you're at and like everything. You look like you have like Anton Chigurh's haircut. Like this whole time
with the headphones and the
because of the lighting, they like blend into your hair. So it feels like it's just your hair. And so, dude, this whole time, I'm like, why does he have? This whole time, I keep saying to myself, like, no, that's not his hair. He's not Anton Chigurh. He doesn't have like Lord Farquaad's haircut right
now. Yeah. Well, Edward, that's why I'm here. I promised him. I gave him my word that I would kill you. Yeah. Call it. This is the best that I can do. Yeah, but I watched the original, The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah, The Hills Have Eyes.
Actually, funny enough, I'd seen the remake, but not the original. And the remake's a solid like 5 out of 10. It's an totally average film.
Yeah.
But the original's great. I really like the original. It has that Wes Craven touch. Just, dude, something about old horror movies. They're just better. They're better
grimy
for the most part.
They're like grimy. Yeah. Like, I think horror is one of those genres that really kind of actually benefits from being shot on film,
yes.
and having that textured like element to it. And obviously we've lost that, especially with kind of like the hyper low budgetization of horror, meaning that they're shooting all of them on digital cameras. They look like crap.
Exactly.
They all look like crap. But before there was like a real style, like a real like grind to those movies and a real aesthetic and look to them. The Hills Have Eyes and the Chainsaw Massacre and all these movies. like. But yeah, I digress. Go ahead.
No, you're absolutely right. In the soundtracks too, I love 70s horror and thriller soundtracks. Like the soundtrack in Hills Have Eyes is actually really similar to the original Planet of the Apes soundtrack. And a lot of 70s movies have this with that piano where it's just like dun, 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 boom, 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 dun, 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 like when someone's getting chased or something.
Yeah.
And what is that? Why don't they do that anymore? I love that those little piano things. Those little piano, like if anyone listening knows what I'm talking about, like the original Planet of the Apes when they're being chased through the field by the apes. And that the score kicks in, and it's just it's just creepy as hell, man. Yeah. And Hills Have Eyes has that, and they just the score too. It just has like weird sounds in it too. Like like the opening credits hit, and there's like some violins, your regular stuff,
yes.
But then there will be these weird sounds in the score where you're like, what the hell is that? It sounds like an elk call or something, or like a dinosaur, like just weird, unsettling noises.
Yes.
I was actually surprised watching it because I thought, what's the guy's name on the front cover? The cover guy, the bald dude.
But no, I know you're talking about the bald guy, but I don't know his name.
Yeah, the guy that everybody thinks of when you think of the Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah.
I thought he was like the big bad of the movie, like the Michael Berryman is his name. I thought he was gonna be like the big bad of the movie, but he's like Leatherface, where he's just kind of, but not even like Leatherface still is like most threatening.
He's just a guy.
He's just being controlled by his family. But in this movie, like the bald dude is just kind of. I think they thought he was just the most striking, so they put him on the poster.
For sure.
But he's just like he's not that intimidating.
Yeah.
He's not like, I always thought he was like the leader of the clan, but he's not.
Yeah.
But yeah, good stuff. Like I liked that. Yeah, good survival horror. I love a survival story where you got no choice but to take the fight.
Yeah, you have to. I really like those movies. It's sad to me that movie is kind of like, hampered by my memory of it. That and Mission Impossible, like whatever the name of the movie was, Reckoning. So I have to rewatch probably both those movies and just kind of create a new memory for them. But yes, alas,
because someone ruined both experiences.
People ruined those experiences.
Yeah, Mission Impossible. No, it was Fallout, wasn't it?
Yes.
But for you, it was Mission Impossible Fart Out.
Yeah, it was Fart Out. The Fart Reckoning.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that's pretty much it. I guess a couple weeks ago I listened to Chevelle's new album, Bright as Blasphemy. They're hard rock band.
Okay.
That they're pretty famous.
Chevelle?
They were big.
I don't know if I've ever heard of them.
Chevelle.
How do you spell that?
They had that song. They had a song called "The Red" in the early 2000s. That was a pretty big hard rock hit.
Yeah.
You probably recognize it if you heard it.
How do you spell the band's name?
Like the car, Chevelle, Chevelle. Yeah. They dropped a new album a couple weeks ago, Bright as Blasphemy. I thought it was all right. I thought it was like half of it was pretty good, and half of it I wasn't crazy about. But yeah, I was listening to a lot of like hard rock over the summer. Just got kind of tired of listening to hip hop.
As it goes.
So much. Yeah, I mean, I love hip hop's my main genre, but sometimes I gotta switch out,
Yeah.
And then I got interested in listening to some classic rock, specifically like Southern rock. So I was listening to a lot of ZZ Top.
That's like listening to Leonard Skinner, huh?
No, not yet. ZZ Top.
Okay.
What I was listening to. I listened to like their essential albums. So it was what was it? Let me see. It was Tres Hombres from 1973. And yeah, this was like a great blues rock album. Which like I love blues music. And I like blues rock too.
Yeah.
And the Southern rock. I like Crosby, Stills and Nash quite a bit, and Neil Young's great. So I hadn't really listened to ZZ Top. So Tres Hombres is a great album. And then Diguello from 1979.
Diguello. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly, but that was a solid one too.
Yeah.
They definitely started getting a little more manic on this album, which is a trend that continues on into Eliminator and Afterburner from 1983 and 1985, respectively. Their 80s stuff got really weird, manic, hyper-sexual, and sexed up and horny.
As it goes.
Still pretty good, but it had that 80s cheese. They just went full 80s, with the vocal stacking and the arena sounds and synths and electronic stuff, but still entertaining, but definitely picked less songs as keepers off of those two. I love just 70s 60s, 70s rock and roll, man. I mean, Hendrix, of course. Yeah.
Hendrix, of course.
To quote Death Grips.
Yeah. It's funny, I saw like a picture of Stefan recently, and the guy looks so old. It's funny how time passes.
Really?
Right? Yeah, because like I guess like It's funny because it's been I've had 10 years of death grips in my life, and I guess I'm having to contextualize that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
everybody ages and time passes, including Mr.
I know,
Stefan
man.
Burnett, rapper of Death Grips,
Yeah.
who apparently now is 47. He looks 47.
Yeah. Oh man. Let me see if I can find him. MC Ride
I
2025. Will it come up?
don't know. I didn't see it. I saw it like
I don't know.
randomly. Like somebody
Here
put
he
up
is.
like
He's
an
got
image
some
of.
gray in his. Oh yeah, yeah. He's got some gray
Yeah, let
in
me
his
see.
beard and
2025.
on his
Yeah,
head.
he looks
Yeah,
old, man. He has gray in
yeah.
his beard. Like he even looks like kind of like skinnier. Like he's lost like muscle mass. His face just looks old. Like damn, bro.
He's so skinny, man.
Yeah.
Um. Oh, you know what I was thinking though? I kind of was thinking recently about the whole like Hendrix, of course, like thing.
Yeah.
Because for context, people listening, and one of Death Grip's like few interviews, might be their only
The only
one.
one, really.
Yeah, yeah, I think it is. They ask them what their musical influences are,
Influences.
and the only one that MC Ride gives, Hendrix.
Of course.
And then he just says like, yeah, and he's like Hendrix, of
But I look
course. But I mean,
internally. Yeah.
I think it's boring to just list off people.
Yeah.
You know, I look internally. I don't really look to humans as inspiration. Yeah, he's doing like the edgy thing.
Yeah.
And
just a fuck off response.
yeah, I always took the Hendrix thing with like a grain of salt, where I'm just like, everybody likes Hendrix, you know.
Yeah.
But actually, I don't know what flipped this switch for me, but I realized like his delivery is really similar to him.
Yeah, so it's not Hendrix,
Their
of course. Like, oh, it's
voices are-
Hendrix, of course.
Yeah, like their voices are similar, and
Yeah.
there are songs where Hendrix will rap a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't remember what song it is, but there's a song where he kind of goes into a rap where he's white collar conservative. You know, he
It
just
sounds like
starts riffing.
MC Ride.
Yeah, yeah, he does, and I'm like, oh shit, they have that same like they kind of put a little bass in their voice,
Yeah.
like Isabella, you know, like
Yeah.
it kind of,
Yeah.
you know, it sounds.
Well, then it is Hendrix, of course.
I could
Of
see it.
course.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah.
And especially on Ex-Military, the first album, because that's a more
Sure.
rock,
For
bluesy
sure, yeah,
album
that is
for Death
that is very
Grips.
much like a more rock album. Square Eagle across
Yeah.
the block. Yeah.
God, yeah, I love that album. That album's just so bluesy.
Yeah.
I think that is it. I've been enjoying the new South Park.
Yeah.
They're ripping on Trump and ICE and all that, but they're doing it in a funny way. You know, they're not doing it in that boring Hollywood way.
Yes.
You know, they're doing it in the South Park way, where very, you know, it feels it just feels real, like a real middle finger, you know, to everybody, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're targeting Trump's administration, various facets of it, but yeah, it just doesn't feel like those boring Hollywood interviews where they're just like, you know, oh well, if you look at Trump, he's lying to his bit. It's like, yeah, God, I know. All right. It's been 12 years, you know, almost 12 years of this now. We know, we get it.
Yeah.
We get it. You don't have to talk about
It's
it
been
anymore.
a long time. Half
yeah.
of our lives.
Context time, I'm not a Trump guy, but I do find Hollywood excessively boring.
Yeah.
So, but I've been enjoying the hell out of the new South Park season. The second episode, particularly, where Mr. Mackey gets fired from his counselor job, so he's got to go work. He goes and works for ICE to make a living.
Of course.
It's great, dude.
It's the only job around
So
these
fucking
days.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets hired in like 5 seconds. They're just like, all right, thanks, you're hired.
You're hired. Hilarious.
Fucking hilarious.
Oh,
Yeah, so South Park has been great as all. They had I have like 1 or 2 I still have to catch up on, I think, but the third one was like pretty AI focused. That episode was pretty boring actually. Because most of it is just people talking to AI. So it's like I get what the idea is here, but
yeah,
the episode just didn't have enough meat for me.
Yeah.
Or enough laughs or just, I don't know. But the first and second episodes were great. And yeah, I'm trying to find a new book to read right now. Kind of in like a lull. I've been kind of avoiding my Kindle
You can
because
watch. You can watch. You can
the
read a tennis
last,
book. You can read like the biography of Federer.
yeah. I've
That's what I have
been
on my
listening
Kindle right
to.
now.
Yeah, maybe I will. I've been still listening to nonfiction because the way I do it is I read fiction on my Kindle,
Hmm.
and then during the day when I'm just doing things, going about my day, I'll listen to nonfiction on audiobook
Yeah.
because you could be a little more busy and not. It doesn't matter, it's not like fiction where you got to catch. Oh shit! I missed what happened with that character.
It's like almost like a
You
podcast
could
a
be a
little
little
bit.
more Yeah, you could be a little more busy and listen to nonfiction. So that's how I do it. So I'm still listening to quite a bit of nonfiction.
Yeah.
I just read a good book called Never Split the Difference, which is a book that an FBI negotiator wrote about negotiation. I thought that was really interesting. And then I read the book that Michael Jordan's former trainer wrote called Relentless, about the mindset guys like Michael Jordan have. And I thought that was really fascinating. But I'll cut it short there. Sorry, man. I lost track of time. I thought it was like
No,
still
dude, you can
8:50.
keep
So
going. Like, if there's stuff, because I want you to get like, if there's stuff that you feel like you've had that you wanted to talk about, books or movies or whatever, or stuff that you maybe didn't mention over the summer, go ahead, get it out of there.
okay, all right. Thanks, man. Yeah, all right. Three more things. I guess I might as well get these off my list then. In
Yeah.
that case, so Freddie Gibbs' new album.
Yes, I haven't listened to it, so I have no opinions. But you go ahead.
It's great. It's fantastic. Alfredo 2. It's even better. It's better than the first one. I'm confident in saying that. It's better than the first one. It's fantastic. Like the beats are better. Freddie comes in with bars like wrecking balls. The first song, 1995, which is a follow up to the intro track on Alfredo 1, 1985. It's great. Like 1995, great bars and storytelling from Freddie, and a beat that has some great progression. By the time you get to the middle and end of the song, you get this great electric guitar riff, like distorted electric guitar riff in there, that the Alchemist puts in the beat. It's amazing.
Sounds like a play of the
Um,
Kanye and Mike Dean book.
yeah, exactly. And then you got Mar-a-Lago is a great song. Lemon Pepper Steppers is a great, more fast-paced Freddie Gibbs song. And then I really love Skinny Shug 2 is a good one. And then Gold Feet, which also features JID. That's a great one as well. But yeah, this is a Alfredo 2, great Freddie Gibbs album, especially, you want to just kick back and listen to a guy finding new and interesting ways to talk about being awesome, making money, getting women, moving weight, and just being an all around cool ass motherfucker.
Yeah.
Then listen to Alfredo 2 and anything else by Freddie Gibbs.
Yes, sir. Freddie Gibbs is the man.
Yeah. And then as far as books go, the two fiction books that I read most recently was a book called The Force by Don Winslow, I believe it was. And this is The Force is a novel basically about a corrupt police officer, a corrupt NYPD narcotics detective, really similar to The Shield. I mean, it wears its Shield influences on its sleeve 100%. The character is very similar. Just this NYPD detective, narcotics detective, him and his squad, they skim off the top. They steal money from drug dealers. They have confidential informants off the books. They steal drugs, sell them back on the street. he's got a wife and kids, but also has a little girlfriend on the side. And of course, the plot really kicks off. The feds catch him on tape doing something a little naughty, so now he's got to give up buddies, and the book goes from there. So it's a really fast paced, exciting book,
Yeah.
very similar to The Shield, which in itself, I know you haven't watched all The Shield, but it's very similar to like Uncut Gems, where it's just chaos. It's just multiple messes piling up, and the main character's just got to bounce between all of them and just put out fires the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So a very stressful book. I will say the big weakness of the Force is a trend that I have kind of been seeing in some novels and just movies too, I guess, where sometimes they just especially books, honestly, they just lack a villain. A
Mm-hmm.
main villain.
Mm-hmm.
So like the Force has many secondary antagonists. You got like, a Fed that's giving him trouble. You got multiple gangsters and mafiosos. So there's like 4 or 5 secondary antagonists, but there's no one big bad,
Mm-hmm.
where like if you get 20 people in a room who read the book, and you ask them, who's the big bad of this book, they would all give you like a different answer,
Yeah.
like it would be split. It'd be like the vote would be totally split. Whereas if you get 20 people in a room and you ask them, who's the villain of Empire Strikes Back? Darth Vader,
Boba Fett.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like instead of having a
Yeah.
Darth Vader, that's a great example. Instead of having a Darth Vader, they have 5 Boba Fetts.
Yeah. Okay.
Where it's just like, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't work for me, man. I hate that trope. Where does that come from, too? And it's acceptable. People let it slide. The book has glowing reviews. And it's just like, yeah, I mean, it was a page turner. I blew through it, but I also came away with it being like, hey, it would have been cool if there was a main antagonist,
Yeah.
the antagonizing force. But overall, still a good book. And the main character does get on my nerves after a little while. There's something about him that's almost like it's a Vic Mackey clone or a Vic Mackey wannabe. Where when I watch The Shield, I never get tired of watching Vic. I'm definitely not on his side most of the time. Yeah, but I never get tired of watching him because he's still a very nuanced character. Whereas the character in The Force, just by the end, I'm like, this guy's just an idiot.
Yeah.
Just a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Where like I watch The Shield and Vic's smart. Like he is smart as hell. He plays the hell out of all of his hands. Like every card he's got, he plays the hell out of every.
That sounds very fun.
Dude. Yeah, he is. There's things that he does on that show where you're like, holy shit, that was brilliant, man. Like he plays like gangs against each other and stuff. But this book, it's like Vic, but if Vic was also kind of stupid.
Yeah.
And it's just like, all right, I guess. So, and then I read, finally, I read a cosmic horror novel called The Fisherman, which is a big name in horror the past few years. I think it came out in 2021, I want to say.
Who's it by?
I'm blanking on his name. The Fisherman. John Langan.
Okay, John Langan. Yes, that's right. A chilling supernatural horror epic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it takes place in upstate New York, actually. So my birthplace, the motherland for me. And this was, it's a cosmic horror novel, very similar. It's very similar to some Revival by Stephen King, where it's sort of a cosmic horror novel with very themes to Pet Sematary, themes of loss and possibly, bringing back this loved one or getting in contact with this deceased loved one, that kind of Pet Sematary theme. But it's kind of interesting because it's like where Revival by Stephen King is not only the best cosmic horror novel I've ever read, but probably one of my favorite novels of all time. Like it's a 10 out of 10. I mean, it's like it is up there in my top probably 5 fiction novels I've ever read. And then you read something like The Fisherman, and it's like, yeah, it's like it, but it doesn't feel like, you know? It's kind of interesting, man. It's like some stories they have everything it takes on paper, but then when you actually read it, it just lacks that oomph, you know? It just lacks that punch, man. And this book was like a fine, like 6 out of 10, like 3 stars out of 5 for me. I was just like, yeah, it's fine. I wasn't quite too bored, but I also wasn't like, holy shit, give me my Kindle. Like when I first read Revival by Stephen King, I started it on a Thursday night and then finished it that Saturday evening.
Yeah,
Like,
I've had that experience a few times with reading things. Never reading like a novel or anything, but with like some mangas that I've read. I've had like
oh
those
yeah,
like I cannot put this down, and I've
oh
finished
yeah,
it like within like a 24-hour cycle.
it's the best feeling
Oh,
ever. Where
it's
you're
great.
just
When
like,
you're hooked, yeah, that's also an amazing feeling.
yeah, like you're just eyeballing your Kindle like it's half a bag of
Yeah, you're
Doritos. You
hooked.
know,
You're like,
you're just
oh,
like,
I can't
oh,
get enough of
give me
this.
that
Yeah, you're
back.
jonesing
You're
for
like,
it.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
like someone's like, oh, you want to watch a movie?
yeah, that's an amazing feeling. Amazing
I
feeling.
know, man. I know. But yeah, it's like some stories they just there's just they just don't have what it takes for you to really care
Yeah.
about what's happening with these characters. And it's like it can be a lack of any number of things, but it's generally to me it's like it's a lack of it's some combination of like a lack of empathy for the character and
Hmm.
also envy. Like not enough of wanting to be like that character,
Hmm.
seeing qualities in that character that you'd like to possess.
Yeah.
That's what I think it is with something like The Shield, where you're like, Vic Mackey's an asshole, but I would like to be as confident as he is. I would like to be as smart and cunning as
Hmm.
he is and get shit done the way he does. You know,
Right.
there's an envy there.
Right.
You know, same with the show like The Penguin. Total piece of shit, but he's smart as fuck
Yeah.
and he's resourceful, and you're like, oh shit, man, like I wish I could work a room like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I think there's like stories like this lack that, and
Yeah.
there's just things that like they just, and then there's stakes too. I think those are like the 3 things that if you're lacking, there's some combination of those things that when you lack those, that your story just you lack those on different levels.
Hmm.
You know, like if you lack all 3 on every on
High
totally,
level.
you're in
Yeah.
huge trouble.
Yeah.
But if you're lacking like some level of all 3, and you get what I'm trying to say,
Yes.
your story it just lacks that punch.
Yeah.
I think.
Hmm.
Um, so anyway, I'm kind of trying to figure out what to read next. I'm a few books behind in my reading challenge.
Yeah, dude,
Supposed to read
that's the
52 this year, and I'm maybe 4 books behind.
yeah, dude,
So
that's the thing with
I might have to read a couple graphic novels to catch up.
that's the thing with having with like with me doing this album shit where I'm just listening to it alphabetically. It's like I just take it out of my own hands. It's like what
Yeah,
am I doing next? The next thing, like what's after Miles Davis, whatever is after Miles Davis. So there's like a little bit of
you're
a joy in
disciplined,
that,
man.
in just like having it, just taking it off your own hands and just being like, I'm just doing this thing.
I
Um,
feel what you're saying. There is something about like sometimes I'll have like Chat GPT create like a schedule for me,
yeah,
and there's something about someone else giving it to you where
yeah.
it's like,
Oh, I'm doing
oh,
this.
this is coming from
Yeah,
another place. Like someone else is telling me to do this, so
yeah.
now it's like, oh, I got to
Gotta
do
do
it.
it. Yeah,
So
I gotta do it this way.
I
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I totally hear you.
Yeah. Any other things that you want to talk about? Any final thoughts? Film of the week
Nope,
before we close out.
that's it, man. That's it, man. I cleared my list. Thanks for giving me that extra
All
time,
right, good.
sir.
Because not yesterday,
That
but
was
last
mighty
episode.
Christian of you.
I know, right? You only get one of those every now and then. But last episode I rattled off like all the fucking albums that I listened to. So I was like, oh, I need to give Jake like some time to like talk about his backlog of stuff. In any case, we are in September. Later this month, the new PTA movies coming out. Watch Magnolia. We're done with PTA. We're not bringing him up anymore. um, but what do you have for us next week in this kind of like transitional period, right? It's like we're moving into the holidays, Halloween, what do you call it? Thanksgiving, Christmas, but we're still not there. What do you have?
Yeah. Yep, and yeah, exactly. Well, that's why I'm going to take this opportunity before the spooky season comes around, and we really got to be on our P's and
Yeah, we're gonna be on our P's
Q's.
and Q's. We're gonna have to be on our horror behavior.
Yeah. I think it's time for one more film flame before the season cuts out.
Whoa!
Because there's rumors, Edward. Have you heard of a new movie that's so abominable,
Which one?
so horrible, so just a piece of shit?
No, I have not. I
that
don't know what
needs
you're
to
talking
be
about.
seen to be believed.
Which movie is this?
It is the Ice Cube starring.
Oh yeah,
War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds, with Ice Cube. Yes, apparently it's like the worst movie ever made. Dude,
we are gonna flame War of the Worlds.
It's funny
that
it's funny that this is what we're doing
with the worlds.
It's funny that this is what we're doing because I remember I've been seeing all this stuff online about that movie, little clips, and every time I've seen anything from that movie, I've just thought to myself, I'm glad I'm never gonna watch that. I'm glad it's like I'm glad I'm never watching that. Okay.
Well, sorry to raid on your parade.
Why?
There, sir, but we're gonna go ice cubing next week, dude. We're gonna go ice fishing.
Dude, I feel like I need to bring up I feel like I need to add to our soundboard he can't keep getting away with this. He can't keep getting away with it. Like I feel like I need to add that to our. Yeah, this is how I feel right now. It's like, oh no, no, not the film.
Boys and rock, just like as a move.
Join us next week as Jake and I and maybe Kermit Peterson watch World of the Worlds 2 with not 2 but 2025 with Ice Cube.
Yep. Everybody grab yourself your alcoholic beverage of choice.
Oh, dude, I'm
make sure you
it.
have a lot of it, and come watch War of the Worlds.
Dude, I'm bringing it. I drank a little bit of Long Drink, which is my favorite bar none, like vodka seltzer beer.
Okay.
Bar none. So if you're listening, if anybody associated with Long Drink is listening, sponsor me. I'll just chug your beer every episode. But that's gonna be my drink of choice for World of the Worlds.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, I hope you have a lot of it, sir.
Give us money. Give me free beer. Next time on Film Tangents, everybody. Thank you for 500 subscribers. Thank you. Next time on Film Tangents.
Thanks, guys.